Hi everybody, my name is Vaughn Pourchot. I'm the CEO here at VTR Learning, here to bring you another weekly update. If you've been following along with us over the past several weeks, we've been kind of following a theme of leadership topics, and I figured this week we would kind of wrap up that theme and talk about one of the more difficult aspects of leadership, and that is the element of letting somebody go, terminating somebody from a position that they are no longer needed for or are not performing at. And in one of our videos I was watching, the CEO reflects on a time whenever he had this protege that he brought up and had very much started a good friendship and had really high aspirations for this protege of his, and had watched him grow and become more of an asset for the company, and pushed for him to get this promotion to this one position, even against one of the manager's recommendations. It was, but this the CEO. The CEO was, the CEO gets. So the protege got the job, and he was not performing up to par, and so the manager would bring this information to the CEO, and CEO would talk with his protege about it, and he would always end up siding with his protege. He had a friendship, he had a connection with the protege that clouded his judgment. That I think happens to a lot of us, and in the end the protege ended up manipulating some reports, and they ended up discovering that the operation was in much worse shape than the CEO had originally believed, and it became evident that they had to fire this employee, the protege of the CEO, that he had such high expectations for. And it's very unfortunate. It rings loud and clear of something that I've always been fascinated by, but it is called the Peter Principle. And the Peter Principle is the concept of continuously promoting somebody until they reach a level of incompetence. And just because you promote somebody to a position doesn't mean they're right for that position. Doesn't mean that somebody being with the company for the longest time should inherently just inherit the role of CEO if they're there the longest. People have their strengths, people have their weaknesses, and the Peter Principle states that if you continually promote somebody, you eventually meet a level of incompetence in which they might have to be fired or demoted. So very fascinating, and in leadership, that's part of the role is accepting whenever somebody is no longer performing or has been promoted to a level of incompetence, and having to make the unfortunate decision to let them go. But so that's what we'll learn this week. For updates, something pretty neat. The NASBA has just recently announced that they will be doing the first ever National Registry e-Summit virtually. So that's scheduled for September 22nd and in Nashville, Tennessee. But I guess you can attend from anywhere. So that's all we have for this week, and look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great week.